For more content like this, log on to GibboPresents.com.
It's Gibbo, and right now I'm joined by one of the UK's finest, Mr. Real, aka Chukki Starr. Chukki, how are you?
Yes, my brother, bless up and give thanks. You hear that, Gibbo? Yeah, man.
Great to see you, or should I say, hear you sounding so positive and enthusiastic.
Well, I'm just glad for, get back my life and do back where me love. You know what I dealing? Yeah, man.
The new mixtape from yourself and Seani B, Road We Seh, is out now. But just before we get into specifics of the project itself, I think we need to give people a little background info so they understand exactly where you were coming from.
Yes, my brother.
So, to set the scene, you're now a free man again after spending 4 years behind bars, and this release marks your return and lets people know where you've been and gets in, or should I say, gets a few things off your chest. Is this an accurate description?
Yes, man. Perfectly, correctly right, my brother. Correctly right,
There was a video posted on social media of the actual moments when you left prison. I remember watching it at the time, and I went back this morning to try and have a look again, but I couldn't actually find it.
Okay.
But can you take me back to that moment and describe your emotions and feelings when you once again became a free man?
Well, you can imagine, after all that time of being away, it was like, it's like I was, because it took a couple weeks, before the actual day, I was going through a whole heap of things in my mind, knowing that I'm going back on the road and stuff like that. It's a lot of thinking, and you're just thinking, how is life going to be out there now? Because I get so used to that life in prison. You know what I mean? So I was just, trying to get myself mentally ready for the outside world. So that was my focus at the time, Yeah.
Keep this next answer clean if possible. What did you get up to that day? What were the first things you did after your release?
Well, the first thing, to tell the honest truth, I drive back down in London, got to my house. I think I just take a quick shower and beard up and thing, but then me hit the road again. I must have probably got eat some food with my brethren them and, link some man from the ends, and, what people just know, say, yeah, I'm dead out again. So I just make some local trip and, make people know I'm back in the town again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I bet when you were walking through NW10, you couldn't go 5 steps without someone stopping you, hailing you up and shaking your hand.
I'm telling you, it was crazy, But a lot of people knew I was coming out. So a lot of people was kind of expecting, when they see me, a lot of people was like, yes, we're glad you're here because, we heard you was coming out. And, so it was just a good vibe to be back in my hometown and stuff, Yeah.
What were the 3 things you missed the most while you were behind bars?
3 main things. I'm not going to lie. I love ladies, yeah. I love the ladies. I miss them a lot, but, on my, as my career and what I do, I really miss recording and doing music, It was really something big I missed. And, just the everyday life of just, doing what I can do. Just even to go to a shop, I miss just the simplest things in life I missed. You know what I mean? Yeah, the simplest things in life. I missed it, man, yeah.
One of the skits on the mixtape says you were subjected to 23-hour lockdown.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
But only in certain prisons. It depends where you are at the time. And maybe when I first went in and, my first couple months, it was 23-hour lockdown. But as time passed and, I go to different prison and, some prison you go, you have to do like, class, or you have to do work or whatever. It's not so much lockdown. But the first times, yes, it is 23-hour lockup, Yeah, man.
So for the benefit of the people watching and listening who aren't familiar with the prison system here in the UK, Can you detail what a typical day was like for you during this period?
A typical day, well, I tell you what, I know it so well because I went through so much days like that. Typical day, 8 o'clock, just after 8 o'clock, they open your cell door. You know, that means everybody, is a thing called roll call. Everybody, then check and see what go on, and, them check, make sure everybody there, and you have to prepare yourself to go to work or to class or whatever you have to do. You know what I mean? So then, they ring a bell or they just shout on the speaker, yep, everybody make their way to work, you go to work. By 11 o'clock, 11:15, you finish, you come back, you have your lunch on the wing or whatever, you lock down again for 2 hours, 2 o'clock, then open up the cell again, you go back to work or to class or whatever you're doing. 4:30, you finish work, you come back on the wing. By 5 o'clock, it's dinner time. And by 6 o'clock, 6:30, lockdown till the next day. That's the everyday schedule, Yeah.
Did the other inmates recognize you as an artist? Did they know you were Chukki Starr?
Yeah, a lot of them who know of me and know me, yes, and who I tell know me, you know what I mean? But many people, I didn't tell everybody, like everybody knew I was an artist. To some people, it was surprising. Because I was with some people in prison for like a year straight. I didn't tell them nothing about me being an artist. But they used to have a magazine that come to the prison where you can buy CDs. So sometimes my CDs will be in there. And people come to me and say, that's you in there. And then this is how a lot of the prison find out. And even prison officers and everybody start hearing, oh, I've got CDs in the magazine. And everybody find out, Yeah.
Did that change the way they treated you when they found out you were an artist?
Kind of, yeah. Not really changed, but, a lot of people kind of thought, well, they see me as a constructive guy. Like, they think, wow, they can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing. And, a lot of people's like, wow, so how did you end up here? You know what I mean? So that was a lot of people's attitude, Yeah.
The whole experience, 4 years behind bars, has it changed you as a man, as a person? Have you got a different outlook on life now? Or are you just the same old Chukki Starr you've always been?
Well, I would say it's definitely opened my mind, to a lot of things in life. And, I had so much time to think, which really, to check in within myself and, to look in within myself. So, yeah, I believe it has changed me as a person, but, it's given me a positive thought. And as I said, I really appreciate a lot more things now. So, yeah, it has changed me, but in a positive way, even more positive. Yeah.
So the mixtape itself, was it an idea that you came up with?
Well, yeah, what happened is there was a period throughout my 4 years where I went to an open prison. So then I started to get back in contact with people and, my friend was doing some stuff and he hooked up with Seani B at the time, and me and Seani kind of got numbers exchange, and I would call him sometimes, and I would be in my cell sometimes. I hear him play my song on the radio because he'll be on 1Extra. He used to play 5 o'clock in the morning at the time, but was my long time friend. So we start link back, and I'll be telling him, yeah, anytime I come out, I'd love you to do a mix CD with me and stuff. And he was like, yeah, anytime you get out, we do that. So it was just natural when I came out. That was it. Mix CD start to get prepared, Yeah.
Yeah, because Winner Love Jail came out a few months back, but you would have still been inside then, and that was the first thing we'd heard from you in a few years. So did you record that song in jail?
No, what happened, as I said, I went to an open prison, so there was times when I began to get like 2 to 3 days where I can come out now, because I was a less security prison, you know what I mean? So they start to allow you where I can come out, and I can come out from a day. My friends can pick me up for the day, bring me back to the prison and stuff like that. So they pick me up, I go studio with voice, they drop me back, and then that's how we get to do Winner Love Jail, Yeah.
Can you describe the process of putting the mixtape together? Did you have certain tunes and concepts that you wanted to include on the project, or did you just say, Seani, here's some tunes, do your magic?
Well, yes, to tell the honest truth, I did have some songs from before. some of the songs on there I had from before, but you know me always singing something that really makes sense. So it all come together at the end, you know, because some of the new songs I've done, it's still in tide with some of the songs I had from before. You know what I mean? So it all made the story. You know what I mean? It all told the story. So yes, a lot of the songs I did have from before, you know?
So the skits and the instrumentals used, were they Seani's ideas or were they yours?
Yeah, all of the instrumentals was Seani's idea. You know, the great Seani B. That was all down to him, which I love so much, the style and to what he done. And yeah, the skits and all that, yeah, it was all Seani who thought of most of the skits, yeah.
There's no features on the mixtape, which is somewhat of a rarity these days. Was this because you wanted the focus to be solely on you and your return to the game?
Tell the honest truth, I had a song I was gonna put out as a combination, a kind of a refix tune I had with my brethren Loot and Fire, which I was gonna use, but at the end I just thought, you know what, I'll keep that song for a different time, and I just thought, let me go ahead and just put out all these songs I had of myself, you know? Yeah.
Obviously, when you're in prison, you've got a lot of time on your hands. Did you write a lot of material while you were in there?
Yes, I did. What happened is, in the first, as I said, the first probably 18 months, 2 years, I didn't write no songs because my mind was just not on music at that time. You know, I was just trying to get through those first couple of years, you know what I mean? But what happened is, you know, when I reached, as I said, 18 months, 21 months, you know, I realized I've got something to look forward for, and that was to get to the open prison. So I started to get more, you know, I start to get back the vibes now, and then I start to write songs again, and, you know, because I knew that I can get to the open prison now, you know? So, yeah.
And writing material, was that almost like a therapeutic exercise for you to get things off your chest, to express the way you were feeling?
Most definitely. You know, because I had a lot in my brain building up, so I had a lot to say and a lot of things I wanted to really talk about, you know. So, yeah, it was a way for me to kind of express my feelings, you know, by doing the writing at the time. Yeah.
You're a veteran of the UK dancehall and reggae scene, and
thank you very much.
I don't want to make you sound old, but yeah. You've inspired a lot of the current generation of UK artists.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'd like to get your thoughts on the current state of the UK scene as opposed to 4 years ago, before you went into prison. Is it in a better place now, a worse place, or do you think it's about the same?
I think, tell the honest truth, I think it's about the same, because you know this business, how it is, and you know, sometimes different people have, you know, different times. So everybody have their time, you know what I mean? And, you know, while I was away, I was in the UK, on the UK level, you know, it was my brethren Gappy Ranks at the time who was really, you know, going on with this thing at the time. When I was away, Styler G kind of uprise, and I was hearing him a lot on the radio, and I was thinking, well, it looked like the business is kind of pushing now, because there's a few of us now, you know what I mean? So it looked good. The business look good. You got Gappy doing his thing, you got Style, and you got one and two other man, Redman UK, and I had a few couple man doing their thing too. You know what I mean? So yeah, as I said, to me, it's still all the same. It was, you know, it's just a matter of time. I knew when I get back out, I'm gonna do my thing, and you know, I'll be back where I left off. You know, yeah.
And I'm guessing, at least towards the end of your time in prison, you were able to listen to the local radio stations, keep your finger on the pulse?
Well, I didn't get to listen to the locals because I was far away. My last 9 months, I think I was up by the last prison I went to. We was kind of Newmarket, somewhere up that way, far out. So I didn't hear the local stations, but I listened to One Extra, and you know, I can hear like David Radigan, and I can listen to Seani B and stuff like that. You know. Yeah.
Well, as long as you can catch Rodigan and Seani B each week, you don't really need too much else.
Well, then see it, then, my brother. I true, man.
Other than the mixtape, what else do people need to look out for in the coming months? What else are you working on or set to work on?
Well, right now, the plan is right now, to tell the honest truth, we're going to try to put an EP together. But I'm here, I have a few different kind of outlooks on how we're thinking of doing it, because, I've got a few different people I want to work with and who wants to do some work with me. So at the moment, I haven't decided which one I'm going to do it with or who we're going to do it with. But I know the EP is due very, very, very soon, Yeah.
Mr. Real is back. Our Road We Seh, the movie mix. Chukki Starr alongside Seani B. The mixtape is out now. Take a listen via Seani B's SoundCloud page, soundcloud.com/SeaniB-com. Chukki, thanks a lot.
Big up yourself, Gibbo, and big up all the people them listening. And that's why I'm making you know I say my day again, and you're gonna get some very good music. So listen out for Chukki Starr. Yeah, brother. Yeah, man.
Gibbo presents